escape from Dol Guldur. While exploring in the vicinity of Dol Guldur at Lady Galadriel's request, one of the hero's companions is captured by the necromancer's forces and is now awaiting interrogation in a dungeon beneath the hill. Knowing their friend's time is short, the heroes decide to attempt a desperate rescue. Hey everybody, welcome back to Wolfgame. Today we're taking on the third and final quest from the core set of The Lord of the Rings, the card game. If you need a tutorial on how to play the basics of the game, I have linked the how to play video in the description box below, as well as the second quest from the core set. So here we are on the third quest, Escape from Dol Guldur. So let's jump right into the setup instructions for the quest. The Lady Galadriel of Lorien has asked you to investigate the area in the vicinity of Dol Guldur. While doing so, one of your allies was ambushed by orcs, captured, and is now held in a dungeon cell. Setup. Search the encounter deck for the 3 objective cards, reveal and place them in the staging area. Also place the Nazgul of Dol Guldur face up, but out of play alongside the quest deck. Then shuffle the encounter deck and attach 1 encounter card to each objective card. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Nazgul and the objectives. So first, the Nazgul is 5 threat, 4 attack, 3 defense, and 9 hit points. We want to be prepared to take him on when he comes out in the second stage of the quest. Now these guarded objectives, they all have the same action where we can raise our threat by 2 in order to claim them once they're freed of their guards. And then they all have a different forced response once we have claimed them. And I want to always get the Gandalf's map first because its effect is going to be the least bad of the 3 for my specific deck. And then because they're guarded, we take the top card of the encounter deck and reveal it and place it out as a guard for these objectives. So in order to claim them later, we have to either travel through or travel to the location or defeat the enemy attached to it. Now we'll look at the heroes we're taking on the quest. We have Aragorn, who can ready after he's committed to the quest by spending 1 resource. And then we're bringing Eowyn, who has intense questing power, and you can discard a card to give her even a +1 when needed. And then we have Dunhir, who is able to attack enemies in the staging area and is going to give us some more spirit resources. And spoiler alert, that captured comrade mention means that we're going to lose one of our heroes here at the start of the first stage of the quest. And with this deck, if Dunhir is not the one that is captured, I'm going to reset and start the game over because I am going to depend on Aragorn and Eowyn in order to make it through this quest. Now, Escape from Dol Guldur is notoriously difficult because you do have to sacrifice one of your heroes right at the beginning of the game and don't get him back till later. And I did lose probably 4 or 5 times trying to record for this playthrough until I got the right deck combination with just the revised core set card pool, but was finally able to beat it twice consecutively with the specific deck we're using now. So let's draw our starting hand. We get the Steward of Gondor, Unexpected Courage, Beorn, a Northern Tracker, a Test of Will, and the Son of Arnor. So I was hoping to get Celebrian Stone, which helps with Aragorn's abilities here in this quest, but with that lineup of cards, that Steward of Gondor, Test of Will, and that Northern Tracker, I am going to keep this hand. We're not going to mulligan. And we're just going to hope we get the Celebrian Stone soon, or just make do without it, because otherwise this is a fantastic starting hand. So let's go ahead and proceed to stage 1B of the quest. When revealed, randomly select 1 hero card among all the heroes controlled by the players and turn it face down. That hero is now considered a prisoner, cannot be used, cannot be damaged, and does not collect resources until it is rescued. And players as a group are not allowed to put out more than 1 ally in any single round, and we must collect 1 objective before we can proceed to the next stage of the quest. Okay, and we are going to need 9 progress as well to complete this stage of the quest. So now we need to select one of our heroes to be the prisoner randomly. So I'm going to place a different token on each of these and then place the same of those 3 tokens in my hand, shake them up, pull one out randomly here, and we did get the progress token for Dunhir, which was very lucky because, like I said, if he wasn't the one that was picked, I was going to reset and start this recording over. So luckily I didn't have to do that this time. I'm going to put a high-level review of the phases of each round here on the screen. You can pause it and review this if you like. And just note, this is not the detailed review of all action windows. Check the rule book if you want to review those as well. Okay, so I gave our heroes their resources, and now I'm drawing a card. We got the Galadrim's Greeting, which is great. That'll keep our threat down. And now just decide we have one resource. I'm going to save from Eowyn to pay for a test of will. And I'm going to save up till next round to put Student of Gondor out with Aragorn's resources. So we're just going to go ahead and commit to the quest for 6. And we have 6 in the staging area, and we get a treachery. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. So we now deal 1 damage to Aragorn and Eowyn. And we are going 6 against 6, so we don't put any progress out, and we also don't raise our threat. So we're going to go ahead and see if we want to travel to one of these locations now. And we have to exhaust a character to go to 1 and reveal another card from the encounter deck. And I think that's what we're going to do here. So Hummerhorns, this is an awful card. We don't want to engage that this turn, but it has a high engagement cost, so we can leave it up there in the staging area until our threat is at 40. So we're just going to do that. And he only commits 1 threat to the staging area, so not too bad if he stays up there. So we're going to go ahead and ready, raise our threat to 30, and move on to the next round. So gather our resources here, and now we'll draw a new card. We've got the Dwarven Tomb. That lets us bring a card back out of the discard pile later. Now we're going to spend those 2 resources to put the Steward of Gondor out onto Aragorn. Actually, no, we're going to put this on Eowyn, I think, because currently in our hand we have a lot of cards with high spirit cost, and we don't have that Celebrian Stone to allow Aragorn to spend his resources for spirit cards. So hopefully I don't regret this. We're going to put this on Eowyn and immediately exhaust that. She has 4 resources now. Now we're going to spend all 4 of those resources to put out the Northern Tracker, and then we're going to commit all 3 of these characters to the quest. So we're questing for 7. But this Northern Tracker here is fantastic. As he commits to the quest, you immediately put 1 progress on all locations in the staging area, which is insane as you get more locations out there. Now let's reveal the top card of the encounter deck, and we get another treachery. And this card is just going to add 1 threat per player in the game, so that's just 1 extra threat in the staging area. And we have currently 5 + 1, 6, so that allows us to place 1 progress out onto the active location. Now I want to decide if I want to discard any of my cards for Eowyn's ability, and I think we will pass on that and just put that 1 progress out for now. Now we'll not engage either of those enemies up there, so we're going to go ahead and ready, raise our threat, and move on to the next round. So we'll gather our resources, exhaust that Steward of Gondor immediately, and gather 2 more there for Eowyn. Draw a card. Hasty Stroke. This is awesome. If we get a bad shadow effect during combat, we can cancel it with this. Now let's see if we want to play anything from our hand currently. We're going to put an Unexpected Courage out onto Aragorn, which will allow him to ready. And then we'll exhaust all of them to the quest. And now that Northern Tracker is pulling his weight already. He just quested through that location in the staging area. So now there's only 3 total threat up in the staging area currently. And we're questing for 7. And we're going to go ahead and exhaust Unexpected Courage to ready Aragorn so that he won't get damaged by effects of treacheries. Now we got Caught in a Web. This requires you to attach it to a hero, and then they can't refresh unless you pay 2 resources. So we're going to go ahead and use our Test of Will and cancel that treachery card now. So we get to put 4 progress out. So 2 progress will complete these Mountains of Mirkwood, and then we'll place another 2 onto the quest. And after Mountains of Mirkwood leaves play as an explored location, we can search the top 5 cards of our deck and place 1 into our hand. So 5. Ooh, we have for Gondor and Hasty Stroke and unexpected courage. I think we're going to put that in our hand now. So we'll go ahead and shuffle the rest back into the deck. And then we move on to the travel phase. There aren't any locations in the staging area, so combat phase, neither of these is going to engage with us on their own, and we don't want to bring either of them out to engage with us. So we're going to go ahead and ready our characters and move on to the next round. And we'll leave that Steward of Gondor exhausted because we're going to use it immediately. Raise our threat to 32, gather our resources, and draw a Guard of the Citadel. And with the ally restriction of only one per round, it's good to have allies in our hand so that we can be building that up as we go each turn. So now to decide what to play, I think we're going to go ahead and spend 2 and put this Guard of the Citadel out right now. And then I'm going to take these resources, trying to decide I want to save one here for Test of Will in case something bad comes out of the encounter deck. But we're going to go ahead and spend all 3 and play this Galadrim's Greeting and lower our threat by 6. So we're going to go down to 26, and that just keeps us safe if any of those encounter cards raise our threat and keep those enemies from engaging us. Now I'm going to commit Aragorn and Éowyn to the quest. We'll leave the Northern Tracker so he doesn't get damaged by treacheries, since there aren't any locations in the staging area right now. And we draw the Dol Guldur Orcs, which means we have to deal 2 damage to a character committed to the quest. That would kill off Éowyn, which means we need to deal 2 damage to Aragorn, and kind of makes me wish I had committed that Northern Tracker to the quest. But as it is, Aragorn can take it. So now we are going to have to engage these Dol Guldur Orcs. We will defend with the Northern Tracker. He has 2 defense to take on that 2 attack. And he gets +1 attack. So he's going to deal 1 damage to our Northern Tracker. Okay, now we're going to ready Aragorn with Unexpected Courage and attack with 3 against his 3 hit points. And that takes out the Dol Guldur Orcs. So now let's go ahead and ready all of our characters. And we'll raise our threat by 1 to 27 and move on to the next round. So drawing a card, we get another Northern Tracker, and we gather our resources using that Steward of Gondor, getting 3 on Éowyn. Now what do we want to put out this turn? And I think we're going to put out another... Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Put this Unexpected Courage out on Aragorn again. Just allow him to potentially attack 2 enemies or quest, attack and defend. Yep, I think that's what I want to do. Could put it on Éowyn, but she can't really do much with defending and attacking as much as Aragorn, and I don't want to put it on an ally. So we'll commit Aragorn and Éowyn to the quest. Now, to decide if I want to take the Northern Tracker, I think we're just going to leave him like we did last time. And now that I think about it, I don't think we added progress last time. So last time we had 5 in the staging area. We quested for 6. We did put 1 progress out on the quest. All right, now we can move forward. Let's go ahead and draw that encounter card and reveal it. We get the Necromancer's Pass. That adds 3 threat to the staging area, putting us at 6 total. So let's decide if we want to discard any cards for Éowyn's ability to put some progress out. And I think we're just going to keep everything that's in our hand right now and just leave it as is. So now we'll skip the travel phase because the Northern Tracker can take out that location with his ability more easily than through questing. So do we want to engage this Chieftain Uthak or leave him up in the staging area? I think we're going to go ahead and leave him for another round. And we'll go ahead and ready our characters. And we'll raise our threat by 1 to 28. So let's gather our resources here using that Steward of Gondor. I can't imagine playing this quest with only 2 heroes and not putting the Steward of Gondor out on one of them. Such an amazing card for this scenario. And we draw a 4 Gondor, so that adds some attack power to all of our characters later if we put it out. So now what to play? I think we're going to go ahead and place out another Northern Tracker with those 4 spirit resources on Éowyn. So we'll spend those. And now, if we commit them both to the quest, we can quest through 2 progress locations before they even leave the staging area. So these are amazing for this quest. And if you're playing multiplayer, you're going to have even more locations out there, and they just get even more powerful. So now we're questing for 8. And with those 2 northern trackers, we do quest through this 2 progress Necromancer's Pass. And we have 8 against 3 threat in the staging area. So reveal that card. We get a Great Forest Web. So we'll attach that to one of those open objectives there. And you probably notice I've been ignoring those objectives up there. I want to wait as long as possible before claiming any of them. And I want to take that Gandalf's map first. So I'm just going to leave those there until I absolutely have to take them. So we get to place 3 progress onto the quest. Requested for 8 against 5 in the staging area. Now, do we want to travel to the Great Forest Web? I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for the northern trackers to take care of on our next turn. And with the encounter phase, we're just going to go ahead and leave both of those enemies up in the staging area one more time. So let's go ahead and ready all of our characters. Raise our threat to 29. Gather our resources here. And draw a new card. We get a sneak attack. So we have Beorn in our hand currently. And sneak attack is in this deck for mostly Gandalf. We haven't seen him yet. And Beorn is just thrown in here as a tactics card in a spirit leadership deck, just so I could use him a sneak attack if I needed his attack boost. So he can attack for 8 with his ability in a single phase, and then we shuffle him back into the deck. So we'll bring him out maybe to help us with that Chieftain Uthak, or later with the Nazgul of Dol Guldur. But we are going to use those 3 resources we have to play the Son of Arnor. And he allows us to engage with an enemy that's in the staging area if we're playing multiplayer with another player, if there's an enemy engaged with them. But I mostly just think I want him out as another ally, and we're going to ignore his response for this time. So let's go ahead and commit to the quest. We'll send Aragorn, Eowyn, and our northern trackers for 8. And we'll use our Unexpected Courage here to ready Aragorn. And then that ability from the northern trackers gets rid of the Great Forest Web. We just have 3 in the staging area again against our 8. Reveal a card from the encounter deck, and we get another Necromancer's Pass. So that's going to go ahead and attach again to that open objective. So that adds 3 threat to the staging area. With that other 3 we had there, gives 6 in the staging area against our 8. So we can place 2 progress out onto the quest. And I don't think we want to discard any of our cards to increase that, so we'll just stick with 2. Now that we're getting close to questing through this stage, do we want to engage this Chieftain Uthak to open up Gandalf's map, which is that first objective that I want to claim? Or do we want to go ahead and wait another round before we bring him down to engage with us? So we do have that Beorn sneak attack combo that could help us with it, but I think we're going to go ahead and wait one more round before we bring him down with us. So we'll ready all of our characters, raise our threat to 30, gather our resources, and they're going to start piling up with that Steward of Gondor and Eowyn. We got a stand and fight, which allows us to bring an ally out of our discard pile. Now, what do we want to put out? I think I'm going to use this Dwarven Tomb right here for 1 spirit resource. This is going to allow us to bring back Galadrim's Greeting, and that's going to lower our threat by another 6. And if you remember, we needed to spend 6 threat to claim all 3 of those objectives in total. So I really want my threat to be low as we're moving forward here. So committing to the quest, we'll send Aragorn, Eowyn, and the northern trackers. Again, get rid of that Necromancer's Pass. So awesome. And we reveal the Tower Gate. So we attach that to the open objective, and we get to place out another 3 progress. We had 5 in the staging area, requested for 8. And now we do need to claim that objective before we can quest through, even though we do have 9 progress in the staging area. So we are going to engage this Chieftain Uthak here. So let's see, I think we're going to go ahead and defend with this guard of the Citadel here. And that will take him out, but that will prevent our heroes from being taken out. So let's deal a shadow card, exhaust him to defend. And he does get a shadow effect. Choose and discard an attachment that you control. And whenever a card effect says you, it means you as the player, and otherwise it would just specify the defending character. So that means we do have to discard an attachment from one of our characters that is in play. We have 2 unexpected courages, and we're just going to go ahead and discard one of those. And we could have spent 1 spirit resource to use Hasty Stroke to cancel that, but I would like to save that for something worse. So we'll go ahead and just discard that attachment. So now the Guard of the Citadel is destroyed, and we are going to choose our attackers. So we're going to attack with 2 from Son of Arnor and 3 from Aragorn. That's 5. And that is not enough, so we're going to use Sneak Attack to bring out Beorn, who has an attack of 3, which still only puts us at 8 of the 9 attack we need. So we'll activate his ability, which gives him plus 5 attack for a single phase, and then you have to shuffle him back into your deck, which is so thematic for Beorn, just coming out, helping you out, and then disappearing into the woods. So we'll use him, get rid of Chieftain Uthak, and then shuffle him back into the deck. Now, Sneak Attack does have you return a card back into your hand if it's still in play at the end of the phase. I'm just going to assume that Beorn's ability there triggers first, so we'll shuffle him back into the deck instead of putting him back into our hand. And if I'm playing that incorrectly, feel free to make a note down in the comments below. I'm sure there'll be plenty of you out there watching this video that have more experience with this game than I do. So now let's see what we want to do. The Gandalf's map is revealed, so we're going to raise our threat by 2 to claim that objective, and its forced response is you can't exhaust a character to defend or attack. We always use Eowyn for questing, so this one's really not going to affect us in this specific deck, so we'll put that there. And now, since we had more than 9 progress on the quest, we just needed to claim that objective to complete quest stage 1. So with that, we are free to proceed to quest stage 2. Finding a hidden entrance to the dungeons of Dol Guldur at last, you attempt to make your way through the caverns beneath the hill, searching for your imprisoned friend. The denizens of this labyrinth stand in your way, while the jailers protect the prisoner. Response: after placing any number of progress tokens on this card, flip the prisoner hero card face up and place 1 damage token on it. The hero has been rescued and may now be used by the controller. And we're also going to have that same restriction of only 1 ally per round for all players as a group, and we need to claim those other 2 objectives, and we can't lose the one we have before we can proceed to quest stage 3. And we need 15 progress. So here we have that Nazgul of Dol Guldur. It's going to come into play as soon as we rescue the prisoner. So we need to be prepared for that to come out before we place any progress onto the quest. Okay, so we made it through quest stage 1 at the end of the combat phase. So now we're going to go ahead and ready all of our characters, and we will raise our threat by 1 up to 27. Now we gather our resources, draw a new card. We get Faramir. He's an awesome ally that can boost everybody's willpower, but we don't have very many leadership resources, so I don't know if we're going to get him out this game. So let's go ahead and play Stand and Fight, which allows us to use spirit resources to bring any ally out of a discard pile. So we can spend those 2 spirit resources to bring this leadership Guard of the Citadel out. And, oh, forgot to ready the Son of Anborn. Okay, now let's go ahead and commit to the quest. And we need to decide if we want to bring that Nazgul out by placing progress or not. There's only going to be 1 in the staging area after we quest through that tower gate with the Northern Tracker. We'll take another 2 with Aragorn here. And you know what? I think, the engagement cost of that Nazgul is 40. And we can just go ahead and bring it in and leave it up in the staging area for another round or 2. So let's go ahead and quest for 8 and get as much progress onto the quest now as we can before the Nazgul is contributing 5 threat to the staging area. So let's get rid of this location with the Northern Trackers. There's only 1 in the staging area. We'll ready Aragorn in case there's a treachery, and we pull out an enemy, and he is a doomed 1. And that doomed keyword just means you raise your threat by whatever number is next to it, and he is going to engage us this turn because he's a 10 engagement cost. So let's go ahead and defend with Aragorn, and there's no shadow effect there, so there's no damage taken, and we can take him out here with the Guard of the Citadel and the Son of Anborn. So that defeats him, and we can discard him to the encounter discard pile. And I totally forgot to add progress to the quest, so adding that up there. We were questing for 8, and we had 3 in the staging area, so we could place 5 progress out onto the quest. Okay, that was important. And now that we placed that on there, we get to rescue Dunhere. He comes out with 1 damage on him, and we bring the Nazgul of Dol Guldur into the staging area. And he has a pretty nasty effect when he attacks us, so we want to be well prepared for him before we engage him. Okay, so we have Dunhere back with us, and he's able to attack enemies in the staging area with a +1 attack. So we'll take out the Hammerhorns with him this next round. So let's go ahead and ready all of our characters. And then we will raise our threat. So it goes up 1 to 29. Now we're ready to start the next round. So gather our resources, and we have Dunhere. So he gets 1 more spirit resource, which we don't really need. But we did have to put that Steward of Gondor and Eowyn at the beginning with the hand we had. So we'll just have to live without playing very many leadership cards this time. And I think we're going to go ahead and commit to the quest. So we will send Aragorn and Eowyn for sure. So we'll send those 2 out now. And do we want to send anyone else? We don't have any locations up in the staging area, so I don't know that I want to risk sending out these northern trackers right now. I think we'll be good with the 6. Ready Aragorn really quick, just in case there's a treachery. So exhaust that unexpected courage, and we reveal a treachery, which we have to discard all of the event cards in our hand. And ouch, that hurts. And we didn't have a test of will to cancel that, so we'll just have to live with it. So let's go ahead and compare results here. We quested for 6, and there is 6 in the staging area. So we don't make any progress, but we also don't have to raise our threat. So that worked out much better than it could have. And now we can move on to the encounter phase. And we want to decide if we want to engage this Nazgul of Dol Guldur. He has 3 defense, 9 hit points. So we have just short of what we would need, especially after defending. And with his ability, he can discard an additional character if he has a shadow effect that is resolved during combat. So if we hadn't lost that for Gondor with that last treachery, we would have had enough here to take him on. But that being as it is, we're just going to instead take out these Hammerhorns with Dunhere's ability without bringing them out of the staging area. And we will leave the Nazgul there for this round. So let's go ahead and ready our characters. And then we'll raise our threat up to 30. And we're ready to begin the next round. So gather our resources here. And that Steward of Gondor bonus. Now let's check out our next card. We got another Son of Arnor. So what do we want to put out this round? And we have 3 resources. We could put the Son of Arnor out now, or we could wait another round and put out Faramir. I think we're just going to go ahead and get that additional ally out now. So we're going to go ahead and put out the Son of Anborn now and use his ability to engage this Nazgul of Dol Guldur now. And that removes that 5 threat from the staging area. We'll quest with just Eowyn and free everyone else up to defend and attack with that Nazgul. So let's go ahead and reveal our encounter card. We get another location, and with Eowyn's 4 willpower going to the quest, we get to place out 2 progress. And now let's move on to the encounter phase. We're going to defend with this Guard of the Citadel. And again, after we resolve a shadow effect, we have to discard an additional character beyond the one that's defending. So we're going to hope that we don't have any nasty shadow effects here. So with that, we're going to have to raise our threat by 1, discard the Guard of the Citadel, and we now have to discard an additional character So we'll get rid of one of these Sons of Unborn here. And now we are free to attack. So we're going to go ahead and attack with 2 with Done here, 3 from Aragorn, and then another 2 from all 3 of our allies. So that gives us 6, 9, 11, and we needed 12, so we were 1 short. So we're just going to put out this damage here and hope we can take him out in the next round. We were so close to taking him out on the first encounter with him, but now we will ready everyone, move on to the next round, and see if we can escape from the Necromancer's Tower with that Nazgul hunting us from above. So we draw a Celebrian Stone, and this is the one that I was hoping to get at the very beginning of the game, and we'll see if we actually get it out onto Aragorn now at this point. But let's gather our resources here. Eowyn is definitely getting quite the pile of resources there, and we don't have enough leadership resources to pay for either of the cards in our hand, so we'll commit to the quest, and let's go ahead and send Eowyn. And we just need a total of 4 attack this time to take out the Nazgul, so we'll also send our Northern Trackers for another 2, and we'll leave the rest to take on the Nazgul. So we have 2 in the staging area, and we draw Treachery. Deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. So we're going to deal 1 to both of those Northern Trackers and to Eowyn, leaving her just 1 hit point remaining, as well as that Northern Tracker there, both on the edge of death. So now, oh, and I forgot to place that progress out on that location from the Northern Trackers. So we quested with 6 willpower against 2 threat in the staging area. We had to place out 4 progress. So now we have a total of 11 of that total 15 that we need to complete this stage of the quest. So we're just 4 short, and then we also need to collect those other 2 objectives before we progress to stage 3. So now let's move on to our encounter with the Nazgul. We're going to defend with the Son of Unborn, and we did not get a shadow effect this time. And with that Nazgul's ability here, only after the shadow effect resolves do you discard that additional character. So we don't have to trigger that effect. We're just going to discard this Son of Unborn who was defeated by the Nazgul's attack. And now we can exhaust Aragorn and Done here to attack with 5. We need to break through 3 defense and 1 more hit point. We do an extra damage for good measure, and we take out the Nazgul of Dol Guldur. All right, we're going to go ahead and ready and prepare for the next round. And then we'll raise our threat to 33. Gather our resources. I don't know if I've ever had quite this many resources that I can't use. And we drew another Celebrian Stone. So we cannot pay for Faramir, and we don't need that Celebrian Stone at the moment. So let's go ahead and commit to the quest. We'll send Eowyn for sure, Aragorn, and those Northern Trackers. And we'll go ahead and ready Aragorn so we don't lose him to a Treachery. And we quested through that location with the Northern Trackers. So now we have nothing in the staging area, and we draw a Treachery. So we're going to put this on the top of our deck, and so the next time we would draw a card, instead we just discard that and don't get to draw another card. Definitely disappointing because I was hoping to get some more Spirit Allies out, but it could be much worse. So we'll place our progress out. We do complete stage 2, so we can now move on to stage 3. Following a thread of sunlight, you discover a cavern opening leading out through the side of the hill. Stationed outside the cave mouth, however, is a large group of orcs. Forced, at the beginning of each quest phase, each player places the top card of his deck face down in front of him as if it just engaged him from the staging area. These cards are called Orc Guard and act as enemies with 1 hit point, 1 attack, and 1 defense. Players cannot defeat this stage while Nazgul of Dol Guldur is in play. If this stage is defeated and Nazgul of Dol Guldur is not in play, the players have won the game. Okay, and really quick here, I forgot the objectives had to be claimed. So we'll just say that we did that just before traveling to this new stage of the quest. Raise our threat by 4 and attach this one here to Aragorn and this one here to Dunhir. Dunhir's attachment requires him to take 1 damage at the end of each round, and Aragorn's attachment will require us to raise our threat by an additional 2 at the end of each round. Now we need to go ahead and have those orc guards engage with us. So we'll take this top card of our deck, place it out as if it were an enemy, again with 1 on all of its stats. And it is now the encounter phase, so we will defend with Aragorn. There's no shadow effect there, so no damage is taken. And we'll go ahead and attack with Dunhir to take out the orc guard and discard it. So raise our threat to 40, because the normal 1 plus an additional 2 from that attachment, and now we have to deal the damage to Dunhir. Now there's nothing in the staging area, so we're gonna ready all of our characters, gather our resources here, and see if we can complete this quest in 1 round. So we're going to pay 2 resources, I think, to add this Celebrian Stone to Aragorn. So this is going to increase his willpower to 2, and this will help us to quest through this final stage of the quest a little more quickly. Oh, and I forgot to remove those markers to ready all the characters. So now, who are we going to send to the quest? I think we're just going to push and send Aragorn, Eowyn, both of those northern trackers, and then we'll leave Dunhir in case we need to defend. We bring out Enchanted Stream, so put that out, and we are questing for 8. We are 1 short from completing the quest. We need 7. There's 2 in the staging area. Discard that extra Celebrian Stone to get 1 additional progress from Eowyn's ability here, and we have just completed stage 3 of Escape from Dol Guldur. If you're new to the game, you likely won't know what an accomplishment this is, but I feel really good about completing Escape from Dol Guldur with a true solo deck. This is a very hard quest and was designed to be played in multiplayer, and in solo it is challenging, and there's just so many cards that can come out and just completely take you out in 1 turn. So we were lucky, and then also this deck has just been a lot of fun. I've been able to beat this twice now in a row using this deck. I will go ahead and post the details of what cards are in this in the description box below, and this completes the 3 quests from the core set. We'll move on to additional quests from some of the expansions and adventure packs. So thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time.